TV umpire to director, we have a player review. Can we rock and roll, please?
Hello, 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 hello. This is Bits and Pieces, the friendliest cricket podcast brought to you from two continents right now. I am Max, recording from Detroit right after the India Pakistan game, and joined by two wise men, Prashant and Tariq, to talk about the fantastic first week of this cricket tournament. So, India Pakistan, the box office show that was not what we were told it was supposed to be, but yet another win and a Kohli century. What better things to talk about? Tariq, start us off, please.
If we are talking about rehash and re-releases involving India and Pakistan, there was a Mara Hussain movie called Sanam Teri Kasam that was re-released, which has become the biggest re-release blockbuster of the year. And evidently, India have played Pakistan again at an ICC tournament, and we have had the rehash of the same old routine because Pakistan opted to bat, did not put up a score probably challenging enough. Kohli came to the party and India ran out fairly easy winners. I mean, we have heard this plot line before. However, it was not in the Champions Trophy, so I guess there was some amount of spice or excitement about that, but I'm afraid nobody carried that spice or the excitement on their flight from either India to Dubai or Pakistan to Dubai. So the result we have had is a rather tame one. Although I think Indian fans will obviously be delighted, as for example, I am specifically with the result and the intrigue about Kohli's 100. I think even Shaheen Shah Afridi was trying to be a little sneaky, trying to deny him that, but ultimately he would not be denied. I think just to bring our listeners up to date, at the same time, Liverpool are playing Manchester City, and just before we started the discussion, a friend of mine texted saying that, oh, death, taxes, and Kohli in a chase. And I told him, and now for death, taxes, and Mo Salah against a Manchester club. So Salah has scored as well. So I think I think we are in for
तो
that kind of a Sunday
ಈ
bingo.
ಸಾಲ ಕಪ್ ನಮ್ಮದೇ.
Well, Liverpool is certainly hoping, but before this turns into a football podcast, I think the template has been set for a long time. The gulf in quality is clearly evident, and it's not the gulf between the Arabian Peninsula and the Indian Peninsula. It's probably the Gulf of America now. That's how big the difference
Yes,
is.
wherever you want, we'll
Because I
call
think
Gulf. Our Gulf.
so, but I think Prashant made a great point before we just started recording. He was saying that basically the gap is so much that Pakistan would have had to catch India on a very terrible day to be actually having a shot.
And they would have had to had an exceptional day to trouble India. There's only so much you can do with resources like that. But before that, Brother T, you mentioned something about the re-release blockbuster of the year. For me, the biggest re-release blockbuster of the year is Shreyas Iyer. Okay, I thought he was awesome, absolutely awesome today. He was like 17 of 33, and then from there he goes to somehow like run a ball 50. So it's pretty amazing the way he just changed gears and the comfort with which he took on particularly the left arm spinner, Kushtil. Really impressive the way he used the sweep, the reverse sweep, completely threw him off. But I mean, it's a damn squib of a game, and it's something we should be used to. We've had lots of India Pakistan damn squibs, especially in ODI cricket. The last ODI game that's even worth remembering is maybe the 2017 Champions Trophy final. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
even that was a damn squib the other way
that
around.
was a damn squib the other way around. But at least that went against it was an underdog that was winning, right? So it was at least fun to watch from that perspective. There have been a series of really, really boring ODI games. I mean, this has gone from being the mother of all ODIs to being the neighbor's auntie's cousin of all rivalries. You know, it's really it's pathetic. Give me Bangladesh Sri Lanka any day, man. Give me yeah, seriously, give me Bangladesh Sri Lanka any day. Just the level of nibbing, the level of sledging, the level of everything was just at another level. I mean, this is just
Yeah, I think, and the point that Max was making about get rid of this wretched format called the Champions Trophy, which has been again resurrected, much like Sanam Terikasam. just for the sake of sake of India and Pakistan. So, Max, your thoughts on the tournament so far, and maybe we can circle back. But why call for axing the tournament that has barely just started walking again?
So I was talking to my brother yesterday, and this came up, and and he said he told me something, and it resonates so perfectly. We have brought back the zamindari system. Okay, India is the zamindar of the cricketing world. You will do what we want, where we want, how we want. Okay, you all come into our field, work, do stuff. Half of that, 75% is mine. 25% I'll give you. You do what you want. You want to go somewhere, you cannot go. You want to have a wedding, you cannot have. Everything has to work my way. I want to have a tournament, I will have it where I want to have it, on which ground I want to have it. You all figure out on your own. That is essentially what is being played out, and in this week, it is more than evident. Now, Tony is not there, so I can say this. I don't think this is political at all. This is purely cricketing reasons. India would not be able to play a single 350 game if they were in Pakistan. It's not security. They're giving security to England, Australia, all those guys. अपने को भी मिल जाएगा. This is only, there is no security for our bowlers when if we went there on those flat tracks. We'll get hit for 350. Virat and these guys cannot make 350. 260, 270, maximum 280. Enough. This is only our thing. PDP told in the last part, this is the Goa trip. This is exactly how it's played out. All games this week have played out per script. Hridoy did well. New Zealand did well. Australia, despite being the worst team, has done well. Everything has gone to script. And in for India also. We wanted two games the way we wanted. We wanted a warm up game, and now we got one more game. Perfect. This is the perfect week if you look at from the eyes of BCCI.
Without wanting to sound cruel about this, okay, there's got to be something very dark comedy about Pakistan getting all but kicked out of a tournament that they are allegedly hosting, which they are playing away from home. It is. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Jai Shah Tusi great ho. Seriously.
Yeah, but having said that, part of the obviously part of the reason for Pakistan getting knocked out is a sense of deja vu that they lost the opening game against New Zealand the same way they had just lost two more games against New Zealand just a week ago, which clearly obviously says they don't have the combination, the wherewithal, or the depth to kind of bring something to the table in a tournament like this. Number two, they have been hit with pretty bad luck because honestly, when Fakhar Zaman got injured, my initial reaction was they're going to pick somebody out of obscurity and they're going to come and probably play a blinder against India if Champions Trophy history is anything to go by.
No, they
But then
brought
they
Imamul Haq.
then they announced Imamul Haq and
Have four, guys.
because I don't.
Have four.
Man.
They brought back Tri Series. They also backed the concept of best of three finals. That is why they played New Zealand the second time.
Yeah.
Poor chaps.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if Saim Ayub and Fakar were there, that would have probably been a much better team.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So in fact, that did hurt their balance quite a lot, and obviously the long-awaited return or the long-awaited return to form of Babar also did not happen. In fact, today he looked probably in the best touch that he's had in a while, and even then, probably after those two shots which went for four, and I think there was 1-6. What was it, a four? I forgot. After which he probably got a little too confident that he tried that shot against Hardik, which he ended up edging to KL Rahul, and obviously that put the brakes on, and from there on they never really recovered.
No, but also, when they were bowling, right, there were a couple of moments where the game could have changed if they'd been a little lucky. That drop catch at short mid wicket,
Kushdil.
Kushdil. Then Virat Kohli's kind of weird shot that he played to Harris Rauf, which went nowhere. It could have easily gone to hand at deep third man. He had no clue where it was going. It could have gone anywhere. Harris Roth, in that very brief spell, looked like he was making things happen, but
His first over was
ended
good.
up, yeah, yeah. And then, of course, he ended up going for runs because that's what Harris Roth does. There were moments the game could have gotten a lot more interesting, especially if, a few things had gone Pakistan's way. I will say, though, that I was quite impressed with Abrar today. I thought he bowled quite well, thought he bowled quite
Yeah,
nicely.
he actually bowled well in the first game as well. I
Ah,
think the first game they did have New Zealand pegged back a little bit. He was the one who was bowling ideal lengths on that Karachi pitch.
yep,
It looked like they would contain New Zealand under 300, and they definitely had a great chance to chase that down if that were to happen.
yeah.
But again, kind of lost the plot in the middle overs, and it's the
It was in the
same.
end only. Like New Zealand was looking to like a 280, 290 at most.
Yeah. Actually, the last 10
Glenn
overs is
Phillips,
where they.
like, the fast bowling was just gone, and they didn't have any plan. The last 10 overs they didn't have any plan. They were just bowling the same thing, and Phillips was like buffet. Like, okay, I'll just hit you wherever I want to hit you. So the Star Sports feed has been very obnoxious with the ads. I mean, I can't talk. The Vimal ads are like, almost nauseating. So I've switched to watching the 10 Sports feed. The ads are much better. So there is one ad for Lipton, and it goes Chai Chahiye, Kya Hai Janab, Lipton PGA, Lipton PGA. Okay, and that, as I was watching, it's now a earbuds mini. I'm thinking that's what the Pakistan spin strategy is. Spinner चाहिए, कौन है जनाब, अबरार ही तो है, use कीजिए. That is
Yeah, I mean,
what is happening. Poor chaps, man. One guy is bowling, on the other hand, Khushdil, Salman. There is nothing to do, and
yeah,
they are playing an away game on a ground that is not suitable for their bowling in a home tournament. Poor, like, what
yeah,
can they do?
yeah.
It was
But
very bad. It was
I,
bad also. It was not a contest.
no, it wasn't. But I'll tell you one moment that I really enjoyed was after that Rohit assault, right? You saw Shaheen bowling a slower ball, like a left arm orthodox spinner, which Rohit just basically throws his bat at. And, again, the ball goes up in the air, clears the infield, and just trickles for a boundary. And, everyone's talking about how Rohit's putting pressure on the bowlers and this, that, and the other. And the response is just beautiful. It's just this fast in swinging Yorker, taking the pitch completely out of the equation. It's exactly how a small child would react to getting hit for a boundary. I'll bloody uproot your stumps,
Yeah.
I'll bowl as fast as I can. But at the same time, it's also maybe the smartest tactical response to the fact that you're getting nothing from the pitch and the fact that you're getting a little bit of movement in the air. It was both the smartest thing and the most childlike reaction to getting hit for four. And it was beautiful because it worked so spectacularly well. It reminded me so much of Shaheen getting Rohit out. He's done this before in the past.
Mhm.
Rohit and KL in his opening burst, where he gets that ball to bend back in. Rohit has had his share of trouble with left armers. It was that one moment was good to watch, but apart from that, I mean, you're struggling. You're really struggling to find positives here
No,
in this game.
Wazim was on air during that first 5 overs, and that's what he was saying,
Yeah,
right? If it doesn't swing and it doesn't tail into the right hander, Shaheen is kind of,
yeah,
spent force because he doesn't have anything
yeah,
that takes it away. So it's either going straight away or it tails in. And if it doesn't tails in,
yeah.
then it's just one dimensional.
And it's also the fact that Shaheen is like maybe Mitchell Stark was a few years back. He's very much full and swing it bowler. He does not have the variety to bowl in between lengths and trouble you from in between lengths. So in that sense, he is, he's got limitations. But it's always nice to watch a fast bowler swing it and smash the stump.
Yeah,
So that was
no
that
better
was good.
side.
What did you guys think of the Bangladesh game?
The India Bangladesh game.
The
I
India
mean,
Bangladesh game.
well, again, it was weird that Bangladesh would paint themselves into the corner that they did. I mean, and this has been a Bangladesh tendency in, I think, white ball cricket in general. That in T20s as well, they do not seem to know how to construct an innings or pace an innings, which is why they always find themselves in these weird situations.
Hmm.
And it's the same with ODIs again. They don't seem to quite know how to pace themselves. I think three of the first four wickets, the shots were extremely ordinary. Yes, Shami bowled a good first couple of overs, but it was not like the bowling was immensely hostile. I
Yeah.
think poorly chosen shots. And then they had a great chance actually to peg India back. I think Zakir Ali dropped a catch of
Yeah.
KL Rahul, which could have made
Yeah.
things interesting. Although I kind of doubt that India would still have probably made it because they had enough. But having said that, I think wasted chance for Bangladesh because they're perennially punching below their weight for some reason when it comes to.
But one thing did come through: Kohli and leg spin. That did happen.
Kohli and leg spin. Yeah.
Rishad said.
No, so I actually thought that India were tested more in that game than they were in this one.
They absolutely were. I
Yeah.
think India were in control today for almost the entire game. I think Rizwan and South played right into India's hands. And to think that Hardik was brought on primarily because
Yeah.
Shami had that little injury and he had to go off
Yeah.
with the physios and they had to get somebody from the other end. Hardik came and bowled an absolutely fantastic spell. It was an off day for an Aksar, and yet
Yeah.
India seemed in control all through. Even
Yeah.
Kuldeep went for runs, but it never looked like things would spin out of control for India. I think, telling somebody when I think the fourth wicket fell, that this match is Ahmedabading hard because it was basically an opposite, a mirror image of the India Australia final in the sense that India were all out for 241 in that game, had a weird go slow in the middle, like all of those things came
So
back
is
to
this
kind
like
of.
your roundabout way of saying that Virat Kohli is like Travis Head or something?
Speaking of Travis said, I said this on the last part. You don't have a bowling attack. In your batting, Travis said, Steve Smith, Labuschagne, all flop. And yet
Yeah.
you scored 350 and win a game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
Which
Australia for you.
story is
So
this? Is it allowed nahi hai? Like, how can you score 350?
Yeah.
yeah, actually, so we were at the WPL game and we were kind of watching, like we were doing double duty, watching this game on stream and watching the other game on the field. Uh, and our very own Nishit was there, and he was saying that, oh, England batted really well. 350 is an impressive score, and I was telling him that no, Nishit, I think that's like 20 runs short because
Wow.
the rate at which Australia are going, it doesn't look like. Um, and at 120 for four, we were almost ready to declare that, oh, it's like over for Australia. England are in the driver's seat. And with Adil Rashid bowling so well,
Uh,
it looked like they have enough weapons. But Australia hung in there, and then England had no other weapons other than Adil Rashid. And they absolutely excoriated Mark Wood and the rest of the
yeah.
pieces.
So at 130 for 4, Murli is sending memes because he's so happy that Australia is collapsing and all that. So that's what he said in the last episode. So then after the game, I call him. He's not picking up my phone. Then he finally calls me, and both of us cry and lament at the like, what is this, Steve? Like, how is this even possible? Now, when a game where Head comes into his form or Smith plays, it'll be even worse. This is not allowed. This should be, I don't know, should be erased from the record books or something like that, man. Like, how can you do this? And I mean, England didn't help their cause. They were bowling badly. They were dropping catches. They were horrible. Yeah, fielding in this entire first week has been very, very subpar. There've been like the Glenn Phillips catch and few here and there. Like today,
Yeah.
Imam's
Yeah.
catch was good. But otherwise, even India has been kind of sloppy in the field. Like Rohit,
Yeah.
Yeah, India dot catches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
even the field also, the balls going through their legs as they're near the boundaries and all that. All teams have been kind of subpar only.
Everyone should play Ranji Trophy, macha.
Where people are like fielding at short leg with their helmet and
With their
getting
helmets.
catches
Oh
done and
man.
whatnot.
With all the action going on, that for me was the highlight. Okay, that Ranji Trophy semi-final, what drama, man! Insane. Like if that came in a sports movie or something, you'd be like, what nonsense is the director smoking? What rubbish? What story even ends like this? It was,
Yeah, my favorite part was the fact that, like I was mentioning in the group, that the fact that it came off the ricochet of a helmet
huh?
to get Kerala that two-run lead, and effectively through to the finals. After Gujarat had tried to be a little sneaky with concussion substitutes,
Exactly.
his his sounds like divine justice in some
I know.
sense.
I know.
So it was like almost 12:45 in the night for me, and I'm still, and my wife is like, "I thought you said you have to wake up early to watch a match. What are you doing?" I'm watching match. What match are you watching? Ranji Trophy also you will watch. But it was so exciting, and I was like, "It's like, okay, who's playing?" Kerala. I was like, Kerala came also now. I thought only CSK and all this. What? No, Kerala also you want to watch? But
Yeah.
I couldn't switch it off. It was 12:45. I'm like waiting, and it was so lovely. It was, I mean, poetic justice with the whole concussion sub and a wicket of the helmet. Even more was 2 runs to go. Varun Murli messages, "Game is done. Gujarat are through." And then right
Remember
after
that
that,
words.
this happens. It was lovely. Everything was coming together. I mean, Jalat Saxena bowled like 71 or 72 overs, man.
Yeah, yeah. Out
Yeah.
of I think in the initial, I think 130 overs or so that the bowled, he had bowled like 60 overs out of those, which is
So Jalat
absolutely
Saxena's
insane.
basically domestic cricket's Glenn Phillips. That's what he does. Okay, Tariq and I watched a lot of overs in Gaul, and half of those overs were bowled by
Bowled by Glenn Phillips.
Glenn Phillips. Now he's suddenly plucking catches out of the air, like from nowhere. Jalad Saxena is Glenn Phillips' boss. Kerala are going to win this Ranji Trophy. Come on, manifest. Go all the
Baby
way, boys.
Jinx. Let's go.
The win.
But the other game of the week, which kind of flew below the radar, was the Afghanistan South Africa game.
South Africa game, yeah.
And like, first thing I saw in the news was like Klaassen wasn't playing. I'm like, okay, maybe Afghanistan have a chance. But then, Ryan Rickelton and Mumbai Indians player shows up. There was nothing Afghanistan.
I think South Africa
The
have
score was out of
actually
their
a
reach.
very good setup in ODIs. I would say Rickelton has been a great find. I think in bowling as well, they've been doing terrifically well. Again, another fantastic performance from Rabada always happens. I think they are sort of, again, like as with any ICC tournament, definitely in the mix, potentially among those who have a chance to win. But we know with South Africa and ICC tournaments, and most likely again in a rerun of the T20 World Cup, it might be India that they need to overcome. Could be in the semi-finals,
They
could
have
be in the
Tabre
finals. Who
Shamsi
knows?
to play the semi-final or the final whenever it happens in Dubai. So that's there.
I mean, in an alternate universe, if Afghanistan had the kind of heft and muscle that India had and insisted on playing all their games in Dubai, with that squad, they would be
They'll be
far more dangerous. You give Afghanistan a total of 250, 240, 230, they'll be good
Easy.
to chase. And they've got the bowling for these kind of slower surfaces that we've seen so far in Dubai. It is, it's. I mean, I keep wondering what would have happened if India, because I still believe that in the Indian spinners in this tournament are actually the most skilled that I've seen so far. If you look at even all the spinners who've bowled in Dubai. You look at what Kuldeep did today, the amount of purchase he got. Yes, he did go for a few runs, but he was actually getting it to grip. He was actually getting it to turn. Max, you remember we were talking about spinners who actually turn the ball.
Yes.
He is not, contrast that with Akshar, contrast that with Jadeja. He was like in a different class from the other two bowlers. So it is not luck or coincidence that he took more wickets. I thought he bowled the perfect pace. He got the ball to grip. Now, I would love to see that being tested on those 350, 360 pitches. I don't know how he'll go. Maybe he'll go for 80, 90 runs in his 10 overs. I don't know. But we will never find out, sadly. And poor Rashid Khan is getting smeared all over the place. I mean, he would give his left arm to come and bowl here. I mean, this is like made for him. But anyway, it is what it is.
no. So
They are not the
interesting that you bring
zamindars.
up.
They don't get a
Yeah.
No, and interesting that PDB brings this point up that we'll never know what would have happened. Like, what if they had been playing on those pitches? And this reminds me of like me trying very hard to finish my thesis and dissertation at the PhD, and my guide kept reminding me all the time that, oh, you can like put forward this thesis, but the problem is that you can never really comprehensively prove because there are no counterfactuals. Like you can't have counterfactuals in the real
Ah,
world. So I think we are kind of dealing with that with the India Pakistan question for a long time. That there are no counterfactuals, and it's so unfortunate. But at the same time, obviously, we kind of know why and how, both the obvious reasons and the ones behind the scenes. Like Max said, I think the Zamindar point is a very good one in the sense
yeah.
that there is, I mean, honestly, I don't know what else can fans do to not to kind of change this. But also, I just watched like 4 matches in the last 48 hours, two of them live. So maybe we are part of the problem.
What is this weird flex of showing off your PhD in front of us? Yeah, educational ineptitude is, you want to show the gulf of educational ineptitude. Like I have my PhD dissertation around this. But going to your thing, PDP. I mean, we know what we saw that in the 2020 World Cup in Chennai, right? The
Yep.
same two teams played in Chennai, and last wicket Tabre Shamsi, took them to win. So they
Yep.
were all at sea against this very same bowling attack.
Yep.
Nabi, Rashid, Noor, they were all the same guys. But given a
No,
flat deck, they can score 350.
hang on. Tabriz Shamsi took them home against Pakistan. That was like a last wicket
Afghanistan,
win. No, Afghanistan was last wicket.
Afghanistan lost by last wicket to South Africa. No, yeah,
No,
I got
Pakistan
it wrong.
lost.
Did I pull a
Yeah,
Nitin
yeah.
Sundar again?
The Chennai, it is possible because the Chennai game was Pakistan South Africa.
Pakistan, South
That one I
Africa,
remember well.
which Shamsi, it was the last wicket basically. It was anyone's game.
Sorry, I went for Nitin Sundar.
Yeah, yeah, that was the Pakistan game. The only reason I'm saying it with utmost confidence is that I was there. So,
lot of flexes happening, Max.
lot of flexes happening. But yeah, it was.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So this is, it is what it is. I mean, there's only so much we can cry about it. But yeah, the tournament is the way it is, and should be should be fun to see. What it takes to defeat India in Dubai. Maybe someone really gets after their spinners. Maybe England or Australia. I think so far.
England, are you PDP, you are expecting England to
Oh,
come out of that group?
No, that's not happening. Australia then. Australia, I think. They've
Klassen.
yeah, maybe. Uh, I don't know. I don't see actually anyone other than Australia unsettling India spinners. They've looked so good in both the games. They've looked
Murli
absolutely
Satgopan is
incredible.
going to call you when he listens to this podcast. Poor chap wants to take his shirt off in the snow and celebrate. And you're like, Australia is going to come to Dubai.
Yeah, I
You're
think. I
hoping they'll
mean,
beat India. So maybe he might still be happy.
no, I mean, the thing is, if you have to defeat India the way they've been playing in Dubai, obviously have to push the score to a place where it's difficult to, because this is obviously a hard place to
Yeah.
score. You're not going to bowl India out for 150.
Yeah,
That's not happening.
and I think the other weird thing that has happened is India have just been losing tosses in a row. So it's not like they've even chosen to do
Yeah, yeah,
what they're doing in Dubai.
yeah.
Both times Bangladesh won the toss, decided to bat. Pakistan won the toss, decided to bat. And
Oh, it's like,
like Prashant,
Sahib, क्या करें हम? हम बैटिंग कर ले? What? Macha? PhD and all you will study. This much you can understand. Whatever Sahib says, we'll do. So, speaking of Sahib, so Zainab Rizvi, friend of the podcast, had to say this about Virat Kohli, and I'm quoting this with her permission. Zimbabwe तो हमों का मशहूर slander name हो गया है. Kohli should be called Kohlistan for making so many easy runs against our खत्म bowling. हर बार हमारे खराब बॉलिंग पर रन बना रखकर इसे भर आउट ऑफ फॉर्म लेते.
the Asia Cup,
No,
the
you
Asia,
have
But the thing is, if you look at the two innings, right, the one against Bangladesh and the one against Pakistan, even though he's nowhere near his best in either of these two games, what he's shown us is why he was so hyper successful at his pomp, right? So if you look at the game against Bangladesh, he had no touch whatsoever. Like he played horribly. The difference is that when he's scratching and playing horribly in an ODI, which is his format, he still ends up with 22. But even today, when he started, he was struggling. He was struggling against Abrar. He didn't look fluent. He didn't look confident. There were a couple of inside edges that could have gone anywhere. But he gets past it, and even though he's nowhere near his best in these conditions where there is no second slip, he'll be fine. He'll still get runs.
But
So
that's why we are
this is
playing Dubai.
no, so this is very much his format.
This is very much his ground, not his format. We are playing in Dubai because no game is going to go beyond 280, 290. So
Right,
you'll always be under six that you need to go. You
right,
have the time. When you're chasing 350, 360, you don't have the time. Like they scored
right,
350 and Tariq said they seem 20 runs short. Right? You
right.
don't have time that you have to go. Either 290, 280, New Zealand will come, 285 they will score. Okay, that is the maximum they can go. You still
Right.
have time. You can still take 5, 6 balls. You can take the first over. Even Rohit also, he can play out the first as a maiden, but
Uh,
you can still then come and hit because you know it's not going to swing, it's not going to move, it is not going to spin. All there is the bounce will be a bit, and we are okay with that. We know how to play that. You have nicely created one box, we've taken out everything, and you have put the tournament in that box. We are
correct.
perfect for this. We have the batters perfect for this, we have the bowlers perfect for this, we have the conditions perfect for this. Everything is there.
But I mean, there are still things to marvel, man. I mean, he runs a two, right?
Oh yeah, brilliant.
And he runs a two, and he just stops after. There's no panting. There's no like. If there's a heart rate monitor, it's probably barely even gone up. I mean, I don't know. He runs a two the way many other batsmen would jog a single. He's that chilled at the end of it.
He runs a two,
And
stops, waiting for the overthrow, and he turns. Should be
yeah,
not even looking.
yeah,
He is looking
yeah.
for the overthrow.
So, I mean, the reason I find this kind of mind boggling is that when I was actively playing, at the end of every two that I ran, I felt like I would die. Like, for the life of me, I don't know how people do all run four and all that. It is not as easy as it looks on TV. But yeah, it was lovely to watch him back today manipulate the ball into gaps once he got past his scratchy phase.
No, and I think that's the reason why everybody was kind of wheeling the milestone 100 on for whatever its merits or demerits. The point being that psychologically it was something that everybody felt would be critical because these kind of players, you never know. They are momentum players and confidence players.
No, so there I don't think that this is going to spark some major revival and all for Virat Kohli. I think we are.
No, I'm not expecting major revival either.
A
Yeah.
farewell series, please. We have created a farewell series for
Yeah.
Virat and Rohit. One Barbadosa farewell series is done. One format is gone. Now for this format, one more farewell series. Both of you come. Now he scored century. Now Bro also will hit one.
Yeah, I'm saving it for the semi-final, just like the T20.
So,
So
both will hit. See how the T20 World Cup played. Rohit dismantled Australia. He got his high. Kohli took the final. He got his high. Both of them said, Tata bye bye. Now, same thing. Kohli has dismantled Pakistan. Bro will get one this thing, and then both can happily, take it and go. And then play one more WTC cycle, and then hopefully then also. It is the greatest farewell series. This is going on for like a 3-year period.
Longest farewell series ever.
moving on from farewell series, guys, both of you have been watching the WPL. Brother T directly at the ground. Thoughts about the game so far? The key moments, highlights.
Yeah, I think I'll begin with a slight downer, which is something that you, Max, also mentioned and you also mentioned, which is that for some reason fielding there also seems to be rather terrible. That's been the one downer of the season so far because across teams, and I think in the match between Delhi and UP, not the most recent one, the one in Vadodara. Uh, Even Australian players were like misfielding and dropping catches and all that, which is something you don't usually see in either men's or women's cricket. So that's been the only downer. However, I think out of eight games, it has produced four or five really uh, entertaining, exciting games, which have been last over finishes, thrilling games as such. It has produced some terrific performances. I think yesterday, because UP defeated Delhi Capitals,
Delhi.
everybody now has a win on the board, which means it's much more open and interesting because there are only five teams. So I think pretty open contests. My standout performances so far, I think, was one watching Ellis Perry play a fantastic knock of 81 or 40 odd deliveries the Chinnaswamy against Mumbai. Not good enough to win RCB the match, primarily because Mumbai was just too good and they constructed a fantastic chase with Amanjot Kaur coming in and hitting a couple of sixes in the penultimate over that kind of sealed the fate. And yesterday, we were there at the match for UP and Delhi, and Delhi seemed to have UP on the mat, 100 odd for seven in about the 15th over. And when you were thinking that, oh, we were discussing that, oh, maybe 140, 150, they could make something of it. And then Chanel Henry comes and plays an absolute blinder, hitting sixes to all parts of the park. At one point, the scoreboard said like Henry Hurricane, and everybody had a flashback of like Chris Henry Guile because like the hurricane was back here with another Jamaican hitting it to all parts of the park. So that was great to see again. And I think some of the batting has been very exciting. Some of the bowling has been great. I think Georgia Vera bowled a great spell in that RCB Mumbai game, although she ended up on the losing side. Got the wicket of Harmanpreet in the last over, and the entire Chinnaswamy crowd just spontaneously got on their feet and started applauding at the end of her spell. So it's been a lot of quality cricket. I was telling somebody that this season the WPL feels like a tournament you're watching because you are actually interested in it, and it's not sort of like an obligation that, oh, I should like also be watching this because you are just trying to be equitable and things like that. So that way, I think this might be the season it arrives, although sadly it's possible that it might have a smaller audience because of the clash with the Champions Trophy. Like today there was no
Champions
game
Trophy. Yeah.
because there is Champions Trophy. But even then, I think quality wise it's currently picking up. So we'll have to wait for the Lucknow and Mumbai legs to see what happens. But I have thoroughly enjoyed it so far, and not least for the fact that there are these youngsters from India under 19 stars who are coming and putting in clutch performances, whether it is Kamalini against RCB that night, or even yesterday in a lost cause, Nikki Prasad played a great knock
Yep.
as well. Again, lots to look forward to that way, and I'm hoping it's a tight finish for the top three spots also towards the end.
I haven't been watching the games, but I did watch a few highlights of the Perry knock. And there's this one shot where she's advancing down the wicket and she's lofting, but she's not losing shape. It's just a snap of her wrist and the ball is gone. I mean, it's quite something. It was,
It's Ellis Perry.
yeah,
What are you
yeah.
describing? It's Ellis Perry.
It's such
No, Tariq,
such
like, you're
grace and
right.
such ease.
Uh, some of the performances have been family, like Chanel
I mean,
Harry, or even the.
she's not even swinging that hard from her shoulders. She's just like snapping her wrist. She's just like locking her wrist and it's gone. It's quite awesome, quite amazing to watch.
Even like what's her name, Priya Mishra. It was the Gujarat versus UP game, and she
Yeah,
took
yeah,
three
yeah.
wickets in there. And there, it's nice to see that second rung of players. Like you're expecting a Grace Harris or a Annabelle Sutherland, them to always perform, but when you see these second level of players playing, that's really nice.
Yeah, yesterday I think Kranti, the pacer from the UP team, produced an absolute peach to get rid of Meg Lanning. which, as in, you don't usually get Meg Lanning with one that's coming in, splits her in half, and takes the top of middle stump.
Wow.
Like, that was the delivery.
Her deal is that she's now retired from international cricket, right?
She is not playing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is basically her only tournament, or does
Yeah,
she
this
also play the
no,
big bash?
I think she did play the BBL as well.
Oh.
But I mean, including even Bangalore, who have
Hmm.
had to get in people like Kanika Huja and the other youngsters, because again, Shriyanka Patil is injured. They don't
Hmm.
have Asha Shobna this time around. Even Kanika's performed fantastically well. Tough luck on the Mumbai game that she went for a couple of sixes in that 19th over. But in the first game, she played an absolute blinder to get Bangalore home in a 200 plus chase that seemed impossible to get at the beginning. And I think one other performance that kind of stood out for me personally was I think this was the DC Mumbai game where DC won right at the end, taking a couple of runs of the last.
Hmm.
So Sarah Bryce, the Scottish wicketkeeper, has been doing terrifically well. In fact, Delhi have been actually effectively playing five foreigners because associate nation. So she has
Hmm.
been put in as the wicketkeeper, and she has put in a couple of great performances so far. So again, like, great for the discovery of these new talents, like Max is saying.
How has the stadium experience been? I mean,
So
you are
I
like
think
VIP box seat, but for other.
no, I went to A
No.
stand also. No, I think atmosphere wise and the crowd wise, it's always fantastic. Bangalore is a great venue that way. Even for the RCB game, obviously was jam packed. There was a buzz around. Like, the buzz was honestly exactly the
The
same.
buzz is
Like, when
because
the
the
IPL.
ball will land in your lap, da. This shit small ground. That is why everyone is buzzing.
No, the reason why I asked the question, because Nishit, who went to the game with you, said that he was not allowed entry into the stadium because he was wearing a smartwatch. Now, it's not a recording device. It's not, I don't know what it is, but he was wearing a smartwatch and he was denied entry. He had to go to the other end of the stadium and deposit it in some safe locker and all that. So, what technology is this that a smartwatch can, like, someone will take a smartwatch, throw it on the batsman, or on the fielder? Like,
I
what would
mean,
happen?
yeah, even none of us knew that the smartwatch thing was on, because
Please.
after he came, they told us, and I was telling
The
Nishant that
answer is staring you in the face, Max. Indian Cricket Administration is allergic to any kind of smartness.
smart. Basically, so like, I told Nishit immediately that how dare you try to
Yeah.
keep track of your heart rate and noise levels when you are at a sporting contest.
Boy.
I think that way there is obviously work to be done, because most of these solutions, I mean, the reason that is most of our solutions are not common sense solutions. It's just that we should, like, shut it down.
Hmm.
I think we discussed this in the earlier pod. You and I were together, PDP, when we were
Yeah.
discussing the diktats and the memo
Yeah.
that we deal with everything with,
Yeah.
like, shutting things down rather than looking at how they can be accommodated.
Yeah.
In fact, I had invited Nishit because he wanted to come with family, and I was worried myself, as if I am the host,
Huh.
that I hope they have a good experience with kids, because I was concerned that the kids will be put off for life from cricket.
Oh man, what all tension you're taking that day? Like Nishant's kids will
So
be
his
put
kids
off with.
probably had a nice time. He didn't have a nice
The-
time because having to walk all over and talk to a
And
cop.
again, like, while leaving, also you had to go back and get it. And like you mentioned, the entire the so-called security had basically zero factor authentication, because he just kept it. It's not even a locker; it's like an open thing. And the guy just took a photo of him on the camera
Huh.
with the watch, saying, "Oh, we're just, like, checking that this is your this is your item." So I think that way it leaves a lot to be desired. But I mean, one good thing about the WPL itself has been the Vadodara leg was also well attended. All of the
Hmm.
games had good turnout. And if yesterday's Delhi and UP game is anything to go by, then even the Bangalore leg will have good turnouts, even for non-RCB games, because honestly, RCB games are kind of a given. All RCB games are sold out currently on Book My Show. But the general experience, like, there is so much that can be improved, and it does not even require a huge amount of work. That remains the disappointing part, because clearly nobody wants fans to, I think, watch it at the stadium. And again, like Max said early on,
Are you punning on the watch at the stadium? No watch at the stadium. Okay, got it. So based on what we've seen so far, guys, back to the Champions Trophy. Your thoughts for the rest of the tournament? Have you changed your favorites? Have you changed your predictions? Who do you think?
Actually, no, I have not, but Max can go first.
No, India, New Zealand, Australia. Probably swapping England for South Africa, but that's it.
Yeah,
And
I
then
so
India and Australia final or something like that.
so I would have picked the same. In fact, I picked South Africa as one of the stronger teams anyway. So
Yeah.
again, it's Australia, South Africa, and obviously India is through now, so we can very safely say that. And clearly, New Zealand looked like the other team. I would say New Zealand probably with an outside chance at making the final. And of course, as you know, with New Zealand, they are just one Glenn Phillips performance away from probably lifting another trophy. I'm assuming Tony is not the editor of this episode.
Speaking of time, time is on us. This is episode 115. The bits and pieces, we spoke about the first week of the Champions Trophy, this wretched tournament, which still gave us some good games, some milestones, and we had good fun talking about the WPL as well as the Ranji. Please go check out the Ranji highlights if you haven't. It's been a fantastic semi final. We'll be back next week to talk about week 2 of the IPL. Oh, no, Champions.
Of the champ.
Which actually, the IPL is a better thing to talk about because I keep saying wretched tournament, wretched tournament. I've erased it from my head. This tournament does not
No.
exist. I
So
can't wait for the IPL to start.
no. So,
That's why I keep
so
saying
when
Ryan
no, no,
Rickelton
no.
is a Mumbai Indians player.
No, stop. You say wretched tournament, and then your brain immediately links that to the IPL. Oh man,
Another
Mohan
wretched tournament.
Krishnamurti. Yeah, Hank approves.
But join us next week as we talk about the Champions Trophy and the games from the week. This is Max, PDP, Tareque signing off. Please give us a listen. Send us all your lovely comments on YouTube. We're loving all the comments, especially the ones asking for when Iman will be on the podcast. He might be on the podcast next week. So please leave your comments and we'll see how it goes.
Bye.
Right. See you, everyone.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review. Can we rock and roll, please?